Very nice.
Yay!
I love it.
New show, new everything. Welcome to Murderous.
New hosts. This is Mintinu Bosch WRC, and I am Jod Ronston, and here we are, and it's a new podcast, and we are part of the Slash and Cast podcast network.
Ooh, yeah, that's not going to work. Still, that hasn't changed.
I'll say
but it is in the game.
It's in the game. There you go.
Can we briefly give Josh like mad props for all the work he's been doing? He's been doing so much stuff on the back end. He's been making merch. This killer new logo is sick. You gotta check out the merch. I love it. I love
website,
it. The back door.
everything.
Josh has been
There we
focusing on the back door and making that back door just like shiny. He's been bleaching the back door.
I was like,
Tell me how that went for you.
Okay, like the story of this show is Rod got me when I was like in a ball in a cave, burnt out from other past projects, and he sold me coming on saying he was going to do everything, and I was like, I bet you anything at one point it will switch over and I'll have that like energy again, and it's back. I'm feeling great, and I'm feeling creative. I have that itch to just like do some fun stuff, and this show is something I just love you guys. It's been 3 years, guys. It's been 3 years.
I know.
So
156, man. It's like we've been doing this a long time, and I was just saying we only missed one episode the whole time, and that was the week I had COVID. So I was like, and dying, and I had COVID.
I just heard my niece has it for a 4th time.
Jesus.
Yeah, and she's just like,
Ow.
I'm trying to do my homework, and yeah, she's got it bad this time too. So, my heart goes out to you.
Schools are still like, how they've always been like a breeding ground of germs. Doesn't change, and COVID's a thing, and will never not be a thing unless they have some kind of like cure, not vaccine. Like it's like this thing will stop you from ever getting COVID.
I found a cure.
I found a cure. We need to be thrown into the sunlight, and the sunlight's dangerous, so we're fucked.
That would happen. That would cure COVID, I think.
I thought you had to bleach people from the inside, according to Donald Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
The
Bleach people
bleaching.
We're back to. Why are we bleaching assholes? Today's theme of the show is bleaching assholes. And
No, that was the.
I've always wondered what that's like, to be honest with you.
I would assume
Probably
it
feels
burns.
great.
I mean, it's not. It's very different. Like, how good having your asshole licked feels? It's like the opposite. It's the opposite of having your asshole licked.
When you're like, what?
It's like when you eat Chipotle and you're like with extra hot sauce. Oh, you'll have it someday. It's just eating Mexican food.
I had Taco Bell yesterday for the first time in seriously probably 5 years, because there just isn't any in the city. And I was at this mall that's just outside of the city, and it has one in it. And I was like, because Deanna and I like watched this YouTube video and made these like double-decker tacos at home that are like fucking unreal because of this video on YouTube recreating Taco Bell. She's like, I have to try this. And I was like, you're gonna hate it, but let's do it. And she's like, what is this? And I was like, no, you didn't put the hot sauce on it. She's like, oh, actually that helps. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And the key ingredient in Taco Bell is always Baja Blast Mountain Dew.
Yeah, we both got Baja Blast for sure. Like you can't go and not get it.
I don't drink soda 99% of the time, but when I go to Taco Bell, it's like,
it's fucking great.
Give me Baja Blast.
Carbonation fucks up my stomach so bad, but like I'll take a sip.
Yeah.
I'll take a sip of the Baja Blast.
Kid takes a Baja Blast to the cheek. Bonk. To the cheek. So how the fuck are you guys? I know everyone's busy. We're all going around, running around. Josh is dressed up like a gigolo. Ken,
a businessman. A businessman.
A gigolo. A gigolo. A gigolo. Ken has been taking over the world of pee. She's been getting that pee.
Doing that, and I just finished a leg workout.
Ooh.
Ken is just like
she's
killing
kicking
it.
ass like this. Oh.
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. I had a buddy in town, and we hung out and did way too much shit. I went and saw Fit for a King and
oh
Devil
man,
Wears Prada
I haven't heard
last week.
that Fit for a King in so long. Holy shit, that's nostalgic for me.
It was very that. And then there was this band Counterparts. You might know Counterparts, Josh. Also,
I do.
I've heard of Counterparts.
They have a song about the guy's dead cat, and I didn't realize it was about his dead cat. And then when you listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh. And it was very sweet because he sang, like, he seems like a crabby guy, but then he sings about his dead cat, and he cries. And I was like, oh, it's so cute. And yeah, so, yep, that was Adventures at a Concert.
I used to listen to Counterparts a fucking lot, by the way.
Yeah.
Aren't they Canadian? I don't fucking...
They are Canadian. They are indeed Canadian. He mentioned being Canadian at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
So it was that and some. It was like the opener was this band called Landmarks, who is French, and they all looked like they were dressed up to be in like a bunch of white guys dressed up like hip hop guys from like 1994. And I was like, but they were fun, and it's just like when you're screaming in French, it's a little weird, but here we are in 2023.
Yeah.
Here we are in 2023. But yeah. So that.
Yeah. Totally.
What?
I used to listen to Counterparts so fucking much. Oh my god.
Their album they put out last year was really dope. It's a little too screamy. Like I don't usually listen to stuff that's just screaming like that. But I was like, this album's rocks. And then I've heard things that the lead singer's kind of an asshole, but
that is the rocks.
Yeah, I mean it's a metal singer, man. There's a good chance that
our show looks fucking metal now. Like this surround
It's
is
sick.
so fucking metal.
It is. Josh had the. If you aren't watching on YouTube, we redid the logo. We talked about it last week, and Josh updated the recording here, and it looks dope.
Everything
and the everything and the website and all that stuff. It was very good. Very good,
going through,
Josh.
Because like I was stupidly creating the website, so it was not very easy to update across the board. And there's like, I don't know, 150 fucking pages on it. So I was going through, and I think I got like, I don't know, like 50 of the past episode pages updated to the new look. But then I'm going to just keep the rest legacy. So
that makes
you get to a certain point and then it just switches back to the old site, but whatever.
Yeah. It's like our old YouTube. There's a bunch of episodes that are just like the logo and the audio when I was putting them up back in the day. So
exactly.
Yeah. Legacy.
Well, it's 3 years in. It's got to change. I didn't even realize that it was that. And I was just like standing in this exact spot doing some work. But if I'm not working on like at least 3 separate things at the same time, my ADHD is just like, fuck you. You don't get to work. So I was like just sitting here thinking, and I was like, oh man, Murder Moose doesn't have like a monogram. We don't have really a logo. We have like an animated or, like a cartoon thing, but that can't really be used as, because it's got other people's property in it. It's not like original to us specifically. Yeah. So it has other IP as its thing. And I was like, you know what? We need our own thing that we can sell and know that it's going to be just our IP. And we own the rights to this now.
Psycho Gorman doesn't come after us for like.
Well, and Jason,
everything.
Like that would be a way harder one to.
Oh no, we could get away with that one for days, man. Like it's just a moose wearing a hockey mask. You can't come after us for that. Yeah. But we're 3 years old now. We grew up. Yeah. Now we're metal band. We're metal. We're metal as fuck.
I already had a few other ideas for some other shirts that are in the more like metal band vein.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're a podcast, but our shirts look like we're in a metal band.
You just need to make you need to make a logo that like the font just looks like you can't read it.
Yeah, I want to do one like that for sure. 100%.
It's just like death metal. You're like, what is the name of this band? What? It's just like a bunch of lines. Yes.
Someone needs to make a font, the unreadable metal band font that is just like metal band font.
Yeah, metal band
Just
font.
make it, just instead of like doing it like real metal band font, we could use the Wingdings or whatever it is. Wingdings or whatever the fucking font is in Word that's just weird ass symbols.
It's just like, this says Murder Moose, we swear. We swear. Have you guys, Josh, I don't know, like either one of you guys, have you watched the Continental show that came out on last week? I guess it was on Friday.
Is that the John Wick show?
Yeah, the John Wick, like, precursor where Winston is the main character of it.
Didn't even know.
But yeah, it came out on Peacock on.
Watched a John Wick movie.
It's okay. They are good. You would enjoy them, kid. Like if you like action movies, it's Keanu Reeves being dope.
But they up the game for action and then action on top of action because it doesn't need to be anymore, and because they're doing it so well, they lean hard into that direction on purpose, and it's good because of that.
The TV show is a little like, I don't know, hit or miss so far.
Is this to like set up the ballerina one?
No, this is how Winston took over the hotel, the Continental, like back in the like late 70s, early 80s. The guy from Deadwood.
Oh, it's giving him backstory. Cool.
Yeah, so it's very, and then
shit.
The bad guy in it is played by Mel Gibson. So I'm Mel Gibson. And it's just like,
really?
Yeah.
He's
Speaking
finally
of
found his way over to TV now, hey?
I guess so. I mean,
He's
it's
working his way back around. I heard from someone that he's like very easily coming back into the world of acting.
Well, all that stuff is just like you stay like, you don't like majorly kill anyone, and you get, Hollywood will forgive you eventually if you make them money, right? So it sounds like the writer's strike is wrapping up, but
yeah, I saw something about that, and I didn't finish reading it. Something about that they had reached like 70% of their requests or something.
Yeah.
Well, they can't go on forever. Like, Hollywood is dumb, but they can't be that fucking dumb.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's the stuff like you sit there and you go, what? Like, so the thing that I saw recently, I don't know if I talked about it, was like the guy who wrote Supernatural, like the main writer for Supernatural, has never been paid a dime by Netflix. And Netflix is like, that's like their number one stream television show for the last, like,
how can they like justify that?
Because greed, man. This is fucking, we are in capitalism's last fucking hurrah. This is like, either we tip over and it's to like totalitarianism. Is that the word I want to say? I don't know if that's the right word, but it is like just going to be like governments that are really just corporations, and that or the aliens are going to come. Either or. I mean, one of these things are going to happen.
And I'm glad you said that, because we have to do that fucking no one will save you movie. It looks so metal. It looks fucking amazing.
There are 2 words in the movie.
So what?
2 spoken. I'm not
awesome. It's an hour and a half, and it looks tense as fuck. And
is it out yet?
It's on Hulu. Yeah, it came out on Hulu on Friday, I think.
It's on Plexulu.
It's on Hulu.
Plexulu.
Hulu.
Yeah, the Plexulu.
Plexulu? It sounds like a wrestling move.
And I read someone's tweet that said, I am legitimately watching this movie already for the 5th time. Them not putting this in theaters is a huge mistake on their part. They would have probably made it clear.
I hear I think, well, it's one of those movies, if you go look at Rotten Tomatoes, not that Rotten Tomatoes matters after
it's 79 and 69.
It's like, the user score was even lower than that a couple of days ago. It was like 54%. So it must be, I guess the ending is really wild, and some people it loses them, but that's okay. That is okay. Yeah.
The marketing campaign for it was really well put together, though. Like, starting it with like a statistic about home invasions, like every year.
That's what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I want to see that, because I hadn't heard anything about it. And then I had friends who are not in touch with the horror scene at all that were like, oh my God, this movie sounds so scary. And I was like,
right.
It's
okay.
But it's a home invasion movie, but with an alien.
It's not home invasion.
But it's an alien home invasion movie.
And that was seriously, there was a reenactment when I was a kid on like Discovery Channel about a home invasion, but it was aliens, and it destroyed me. Like it was the first time I had ever had to sleep in my parents' bed, and I was just like not okay for a long fucking time after I watched that. And I was like, aliens are the most scary thing ever. So when I saw Signs and that TV scene happened, that destroyed me too. I was older, but that little thing, it's still to this day, I'm like, fuck, that's so good. So well done.
I also think that's a movie that would fuck up KPP. It's like, that's a distinct, no, the new one. The
No One Will Save You?
No One Will Save You movie, yeah. So, because
but it's not like
I know
sharks.
I know, but alien movies fuck with her too.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Should we force her?
Like, KPP. I have her text message number, aka her phone number. Josh has my phone number now. When he took over he got all the accounts, and I got a random.
I took over all
message.
the accounts because I was like, "What the fuck? I can't log in. I need to be the 2FA."
Yeah,
So I can just.
It's true.
I am that for so many other companies and people and stuff that I'm like, why am I not for my own podcast? What the hell?
Because again, you took over after
I know.
We could have kept doing it the ghetto way we were doing it before, but Josh is like, "No, you idiot, we have to fix this." Yeah.
I never said any of that. I just
I've been watching or listening to a podcast that I found out about weird shit on Instagram called Ninjas or Butterflies, and I think you would dig it because it's about like conspiracies and aliens and weird shit like that. So I would suggest it because they do a lot on Instagram with like reels, and so they're like a third of our age. They're like in the 50s for their episodes, but you would probably dig them. So I am sending that suggestion your way.
I will check it out.
Kin approved, but you can only listen to them. Like, there's a requirement. They say at the beginning, they're like, the only people who could listen to this podcast have watched Psycho Goreman. So you just have to go into the matter.
No, they don't say that.
Yeah, you have to watch Psycho Goreman, or it's going to be what we watch next week on Murder Moose Podcast.
We're going to watch Psycho Goreman next week on the podcast.
No, we're watching No One Will Save You next week.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Because it looks fucking fantastic. It does. It looks fantastic.
I have not seen anything about it. But like, I saw,
try and keep it that way because I
just know about reviews.
I've seen.
Like I said, I thought it was hilarious that like I still haven't watched a trailer and I don't plan to now. Yeah. But like people that don't watch anything horror related, they were like, "How have you not heard anything about this?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Every time I watch a YouTube video, it was the commercial before my video, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like, I've seen this trailer now a lot of times, and I am excited to see it, and I want to, but come on, stop.
I've been talking about buying a new car, so everything on my YouTube has been about new cars and stuff like that. So it's been a very they when you talk about things that our computer overlords listen, and they're like, "We will give you a new car. You would listen to us."
I'm going to make $1 million this year.
My shit's so confused. It doesn't know what it's going on. It's hilarious. It goes from one thing to another. And I'm like, that was a conversation that somebody had 3 tables over at a restaurant. Like, I don't even know where you pulled that one from.
Yeah. It was like, "Ken, we know you're super ADHD. Here you go. Here you go. We're going to..."
Rod, you keep talking about having to buy a new car. And that's an exciting thing. And you will get exactly what you want. And that's what you put out into the universe.
You will get exactly what you want. I'm using Jedi mind tricks on you, everyone.
The more you know.
The more you know. Or like, again, what we do in the shadows in the vampire trick.
I put on, okay, so last night I forced Deanna to watch Alien with me. And she was like, actually... She's like, "I'm going to shit my pants when the Alien comes out." But then after Alien, I watched Little Monsters from like the 80s with Howie Mandel and stuff.
Man, we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
I know, but I wanted to rewatch it. And I remember, because I watched it as a kid. And it's like, they go down and they're just like brats underneath the ground. It's a really annoying movie. Like, Howie Mandel is over the top. And she stops and looks at me and says, "That guy has unmedicated ADHD like crazy." I'm like, oh my God. He totally
mean, isn't that the whole point of Bobby's World, is like him as a kid with ADHD?
I guess
in an
so.
active imagination.
Wait, is Bobby's World Howie Mandel?
Yeah, he does like
that's
2
him
or
as a
3
kid.
different voices.
Yeah, it was about him as a kid. Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. It's been so long since I've watched that. I did not know that.
I have
loved
weird
that show.
I have weird like connections. Oh, my buddy was when he was visiting, he was running around in a Reptar shirt, and I'm like, yes, Reptar.
Oh yeah,
Dude, going back and watching Rugrats now, like I relate to his parents so much. It makes me want to vomit.
You know his parents are supposed to be like 35, by the way. They look like they're 55.
Yeah.
But that meme where it's like, man, when you were a kid and you saw the parents from Rugrats, you're like, man, they're so fucking old. And then it shows the picture of like the 3 dads in the pool, and it's like, they just look like my friends now. No. And I was like, oh fuck, they actually do.
Yeah. I mean, you turn 39 next month, don't you, Josh?
8.
38. Okay, you're 2 years and a little bit behind me. That's what it is. I always forget what
I'm
it is.
a baby.
I'm a baby. I'm just a baby. Okay,
No, wait,
of babies.
Kinney is the baby. She's our baby.
Baby.
Kenny Poo Poo.
Our Kinney baby.
I'm
Kenny
a baby.
So when I come into your chat, I'll
Gotta
just
love
be like,
me.
Kinney baby.
Kenny Poop. Kenny Poo Poo. Is it like Kenny Poo Poo? I don't know. I'm just saying shit. But let's dive into Alien. We're talking about Alien, 1979. My favorite movie of all time. Let's go. And I'm going to read the synopsis, and we can go. And it reads as follows. The crew of a commercial spacecraft encounters a deadly life form after investigating an unknown transmission. John. I love this movie.
This movie is so... Well, it's not so old. It's really old, but it's been... I don't know. It's just set the standard for so many horror movies, but like almost every sci-fi movie after it has borrowed 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 fucking things from this movie. And rewatching it, I'm like, holy shit. Like the amount of detail and just execution
That was my thought.
was just like everything has just jacked so much. Aesthetics, just it's like, oh wow. You watch it.
I couldn't get over when I was watching it the other night, I was like, man, the effects, the props, the usage of everything, was so good. And like the more that I watch, different things, like I just watched through all the Lord of the Rings and everything, like the more I'm like, man, CGI has ruined movies. Ruined them. And I say that knowing damn good and well that that's not truly the case. But like I was reading some of the things about like how they made some of the effects. Like there's the blue lights in the egg chamber of the ship. They were borrowed from the band The Who because they were practicing a light show on an adjacent soundstage. The tendons for the jaws of the beast were shredded condoms. They used KY jelly for all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah.
There was milk and pasta and glass marbles and like all this random shit. Animal blood, guts, like whatever.
Effects. Like that is the difference in what makes it actually stand.
Can't go.
I know that like in order for that stuff to happen, like if you have to do multiple takes, then it's a whole big process to clean it up. So I understand CGI, I do, but like this movie holds up. It's beautiful. It's stunning to look at. None of it looks like garbage. Like
except for the explosion at the end.
Well,
that's the only CG they use. It's like, ooh.
Do you know how they got the scale of the space jockey to look so big? Do you guys know this? This is one of my favorite facts about the world. They put kids in spacesuits. Those are kids in the spacesuits that's why they look so much smaller than the space jockey. So that's one of those fun pieces of facts that you don't, like, most people probably don't know. But I just thought that was like, it's one of the things that you just get. Having practical effects forces you to be like more like
creative and innovative.
Innovative is like really what I was looking for there. And this movie
is what I had
is
to
just
explain while I was watching it with Deanna. I was like, oh, the practical effects are why this still looks so good. The shine, the in-camera light reflecting off of the goop that they're using. she's like, what's practical effects? And I was like, well, CG, Marvel, like your eyes, even though it looks so hyper realistic with the Marvel stuff, because you know what is real and what isn't, you instantly go, oh, fuck, that's not real. But then when it's practical effects and it's done to that level and you've never seen anything like that, it now is real. And like when the egg opens up and stuff and there's goop, it's like, oh, that's actually real. Like there's no like fake reflection. That's a real fucking reflection, and it looks way scarier because of it. And why the fuck they stood so much time there? It's like that's the main trope that I'm like, get the fuck out of there, toss that guy and leave. Like, come on, are you kidding?
I mean, I just found one of the spacesuit facts like you were talking about, but apparently also the spacesuits had no external ventilation, which caused the cast members to pass out under hot studio temperatures that soared above 100 degrees. Producers kept a nurse on set to provide actors with oxygen, and this continued until Ridley Scott's children passed out while wearing the suits, at which point then alterations were made.
Oh my God.
His own kids, man. I've talked about it here plenty of times. My biggest thing, like my next like horror movie that's like up there in my Mount Rushmore of horror movies is The Thing. And we talked about it. One of my favorite things all time. One of my top favorite movies. Some days,
his favorite thing is his penis, but his next favorite thing is this movie.
I do call my penis The Thing, but that's that's because it looks like the Marvel character. It's like Rocky and that's why an orange. But that movie's perfect. And then they do this prequel setup reboot thing, and they shoot the movie with all these practical effects, and then the studio in the 11th hour goes, no, you have to use CG for some fucking reason. And that movie, I can't actually ever remember being so disappointed watching a movie. Like, and so actually upset. Like, movies don't usually upset me. The other one that made like I still remember being angry in the theater was Prometheus, because
I'm like the only person I know that seriously really fucking liked Prometheus. And I don't know a single other person, to be honest, that actually does like that movie. And I'm gonna hold strong because I love going against the grain.
The dumbest writing, and you compare that movie to Alien that we're talking about right now.
Oh,
the characters are fucking terribly written. Their decisions make no sense, and it covers, and then that transitions into Alien Covenant, which I don't hate nearly as bad, but the characters are almost
as bad. There's some cool fucking scenes in both those movies.
Yeah, there are. It's just it's that thing where you're just like. The
reason this movie works so well is it's the introduction. It's called Alien. Yeah. There is one alien. It's not like you don't need to know the backstory because it doesn't matter, because we're on a journey with these people, and it's nice and clean and concise, and that's why it's packaged so fucking well with a bow on top. It is humans going out of their way to be fucking dumb ass humans, and then I want to know when the original like final girl trope was this like one of the
Halloween. You have Halloween's really like the year before was one of those big ones, right? Halloween.
This would have been being made and already written before Halloween.
But wouldn't we say that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the final girl trope, like she gets out, right? But like
she's one of those ones though. Texas Chainsaw is such a weird movie for a lot of reasons, right? Because of it kind of like you have Black Christmas, which was also 74,
it is.
Right?
I just Googled it. Yeah. It was Sally from Texas Chainsaw. Yeah, you're right. 100%.
So, but like it's one of those things where it's like you have those movies in the 70s. Those three movies are pretty like iconic, like, kind of intros to like Final Girl, and then you start getting things like Prom Night and like Friday the 13th and 80. So you have all these things that's just connected, but it's like, it's that trope that, man, and Sigourney Weaver is such a badass. She is, God, she's gorgeous in the movie.
Oh, fuck,
she's so fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, when she was like getting undressed at the end, Diana's like, oh, young body.
it's like way sexier than like having a girl running on nude because you're just like, it's your imagination. Your imagination's going. Also, the weird fact, and one of the weird facts about this, they had to digitally remove her pubes in that movie because she refused to shave them, and you could kind of see.
I remember that.
Yeah, and you could kind of see them sticking out the side, but it was it was back in the 70s when no one shaved their pubes, but yeah, it's like she's gorgeous in that movie, and it's just like, man, and she's not like I don't know, man. It's that thing where I feel like Ripley doesn't get the credit for being the final girl, like by a lot of people, right? Like, I don't think this is it's a monster movie, but it's also like very much set up like a slasher, right? It's like set up where you have people running around and getting picked off one by one.
100%.
And just like, again, it's that same thing where I always associate Alien with Terminator, because Alien and Terminator have such similar kind of like things to me, where they're both slasher kind of setups, where it's like this unstoppable force and like what these women, going off. And then obviously James Cameron does Terminator 2 and he does Aliens, and they're both fucking two of the best sequels of all time for horror movies. And you go, man, Ripley
James
doesn't
Cameron, he just gets it on such a weird another level than any other filmmaker.
He does, and he hasn't lost it. Like fucking, Ridley Scott is kind of like been hit or miss a lot of the last 40 years after this. Like, he's done a lot of really good things, right? But it's like James Cameron. Has James Cameron ever made a bad movie? Like, I don't know if he's ever made. It's okay. Avatar might not be like everybody's cup of tea. You can't call it a bad movie, right? Like, you can't call it like
did.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. It's not. Yeah. It's not. I don't know. Like, I went and saw it, and in theaters, both of them, and the experience I had with both of them in theaters in 3D was seriously the only experience I had like that ever before or after. So I'm like, so what? I don't overly care about these characters or whatever. That's still fucking insane what just happened in front of me.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen or felt or been so, like, he was trying to immerse you in a different way. Just like Christopher Nolan is so obsessed with it being so big that nothing else matters and you can't not be immersed. Like, when I saw Oppenheimer in IMAX, it was the biggest fucking, like, because the way he films doesn't really need to be that big. I don't know if he's seen his film that big, but like the close-ups of people's faces look fucking crazy when they're 100 feet tall or whatever the fucking screen is. It's nuts.
You made me think of this because I didn't know this. I learned over the weekend that the main actor in Tenet is Denzel Washington's kid, who's also in that Creator movie coming out. I did not know that. And I'm like, he's a good-looking dude, just like Denzel Washington. It makes sense. I mean, I was like, man.
Honestly, I think every single person that has seen Tenet and didn't like it should rewatch Tenet and give it another chance.
I thought I saw it for the last couple of months. Yeah,
like, there was
it's weird, man,
with its audio and Christopher Nolan doing the thing where he's like, you know what? Fuck anything being audible. I want the thing to take over, and you're like, wait, huh? Okay, I got to turn on these fucking subtitles.
It's like you're underwater,
and it's one of his. I don't know. He's
I liked it a lot.
Super obsessed with time, and if
yeah. I mean, it reminds me a lot of like Inception, right? In that way, where it's like that weird, like you don't know what's happening, and it's like it discombobulates your brain. Your brain's like,
Inception's great. It's just fun.
Yeah. So I mean, like, Alien has to be like, it's funny because I think that like horror in space isn't all that common of a trope anymore, right? Like, I think of horror movies in space. I think of like the seventh sequel of like I know that's one of the exceptions, but like often it's like Jason X or like it's like Hellraiser.
But I fucking love Jason X.
I mean,
it's the worst, but it's so good.
It's fun. It's fun. But
it's
what
like
I'm saying
Taco
is,
Bell.
Yeah, it's like you're like gonna go in stoked, and then just like when your asshole's bleeding, you're gonna be like, why did I do this to myself? Why
every
did
bite,
I
you're
do
like,
this?
This isn't. Why do I want more?
Why are these dialogues / lettuce so bad? That's the worst thing about like Taco Bell. Why is their lettuce so fucking terrible?
Actually, the lettuce I had yesterday was like they just sliced a new piece of iceberg. I was like, oh. Well, I'm usually like, oh, this soggy. Get this fucking out of here.
Yeah,
it was good. But the
like,
cheese was like straight from the freezer, though. Diana's like, oh, those are sad carrots. I'm like, they're carrots? Why would there be carrots on a taco? It's cheese, but it's like frozen.
That's funny.
Why are these carrots so sad? They're sad carrots. But like, yeah, it's like you don't think of like you mentioned Event Horizon, obviously the Thing. Like sci-fi horror doesn't like. We're just talking about what do you call it? No One Can Save You. Next week we're gonna do, I guess.
I think it's a perfect like next movie transition from the best alien horror movie ever made. Like arguably anyone can like fucking suck a dick. This is Rod's favorite fucking movie. He'll make you suck his dick.
I will. Or, I mean, with consent. I'm not going to, there's got to be consent.
Yes.
It's consent.
He has it on his phone.
Everyone.
The app.
Yeah, like you have to sign your like consent away. So like I know everyone knows. It's just like
I'm such a
this
dick.
movie.
I love you. I'm sorry.
This movie is practically so like I grew up on things like Star Wars and Alien and like even things like Die Hard. Like it's the stuff that like where everything was mostly practical effects, and then you talk about Josh the mat whatever like the end explosion, which is like you think of things like the helicopter explosion at the end of Die Hard and like all the stuff and the random explosions in the Thing. It's funny, man. They like
so much fucking pyro in the Thing. Like it looked so dangerous.
Yep. Well, I mean, dude, you know how? Do you know? I don't know if you guys know this. The guy who played the alien was like a 6'8" Nigerian. He was what? Let's see. How tall was he? Like he died in like 1992 or something like that. Or like he died a long time ago. Yeah, died in 1992. But he was 7 foot tall. He was Nigerian, and he was like 26 when he shot this. And it's just like all the things that you do, you just get a really tall dude to get that long, menacing fucking thing, and that menacing frame. And it's like that thing that was so iconic that they. I mean, how many we have? Alien and Alien 3 are the only two of these movies that have one alien in them, right? Like, and because I don't call what was in Prometheus or in Alien Covenant really aliens, even though like the one in Alien Covenant looked like an alien, but it was super CG, and that still makes me sad. But
it's
like, so
they can move a lot faster and more smooth and stuff, and it was like. It reminded me too much of like Jurassic fucking World. I was like, oh, come on. Like,
well, it's like then you think about the one in Prometheus that looks like it's like out of Beetlejuice. Like it looks like when they're like having the.
Are you excited for Beetlejuice too? Because I am.
Yes.
I am. Ken, how excited?
Yes. I could shit my pants. Yes.
I mean, you could always shit your pants though, Ken.
They could ruin the first one by making this one really fucking Disney.
I don't think they're gonna go super Disney on it.
It's still what do you call them? Tim Burton movies. So like, I don't think
he did a really good job with Wednesday, but it's still you could see where he was like conceding and making a Netflix series because it felt very Netflix.
Well,
and
I mean, the first
that was the particular genre that they were going for with that, though, right? Like,
I know, but it was the most non-Tim Burton feeling Tim Burton thing I've ever seen. Not in a bad way whatsoever, because it felt very like it fit into the Netflix like Archie thing that they did and whatever.
Yeah. You know why it wasn't Tim Burton-y? Because Johnny Depp wasn't in it. Anything that doesn't have Johnny Depp, you're like, are you sure Tim Burton made this? Like, it's his own. Like, and that was obviously all.
I mean, there's something to be said about like collaborating with someone so much that you can't do a project without the other person. It's like, That's what love means.
Well, I do think it's funny because we have Aquaman 2 coming out at the end of the year, and like they like dropped a trailer recently.
Care?
Well, the funny part about it is that Amber Heard's still in it because they were shooting it like before the trial, and like you get like a half a second. I guess I haven't watched the trailer. There's like a half a second shot of her in it, so they're not even acknowledging she's in it, and because everyone was like, "Why aren't you replacing her?" Because all the allegations had come out, but like it's that weird thing in Hollywood where it's like allegations against a woman aren't enough to stop. I mean, like Kevin Spacey hasn't like done shit hardly since all the allegations that he got out. Actually, just got out of a bunch of them, I think. But it's that weird thing, man. It's like it's that weird like how's this gonna happen, and then like whatever. But yeah, so I think another one of my favorite facts about Alien is that the actors did not know about the chest burster, which is still like, it's like one of the best facts ever because it's like you could see these people actually fucking like horrified because they had no idea what was happening. And I still love
such a fucking iconic scene. I love it,
dude. I mean, it makes me laugh because if Spaceballs, where John Hurt reappears in and then does the same scene, and then the chest burster comes out and does like an old vaudevillian dance as like "Hello, my darling" and stuff like that. It's still one of my favorite like mock you comedy scenes like ever. That scene is so good, dude. It's funny because like this movie's so iconic now, but nobody knew who Sigourney Weaver was like when this movie came out, right? Like she was not the fucking super megastar she was after this. I mean, she really established herself in this, and then in the 80s when she was doing a bunch of 80s stuff. But Ghostbusters, I mean, what year did Ghostbusters 1 come out? Like early 80s, right? But I just
Are you excited for Romulus?
What's Romulus?
Alien Romulus, the next Alien movie. Betty Alvarez is writing and directing.
I don't know. I won't get excited about another Alien movie until
but it's Betty Alvarez. Like
he also made that fucking Don't Breathe 2 bullshit movie, dude.
No, he made Don't Breathe. He didn't make Don't Breathe.
Oh,
2.
he produced it.
But he only makes the good ones, and then he
did the first. He did Evil Dead, right? Like the Evil Dead reboot.
He did the story for the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, apparently.
Dude, I continue to watch YouTube channels shit all over that movie, and I'm like, what the fuck are you people watching? I don't understand the hatred for that fucking film to this day. I don't understand what people were expecting. What like the shit that like people call out. I'm just for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing from Netflix. I just like either. I don't like.
Dude, that's where it doesn't matter. Because they don't have an opinion of their own anyways, and they're following the trend. And they're like, you know what? I watched one person's opinion. Now that's my opinion. And it happened. And it's like Daybreakers. They kept just chomping on each other's content because they don't. And it was the epidemic of no one has a fucking original idea on YouTube.
I was listening to something the other day. It was really funny because we had talked about this on the podcast and I like completely forgot about it. But I was listening to somebody talk about how, one movie comes out, exactly the same one comes out after, like, to where we've got stacks of the same concept of like Twister and Tornado and Dante's Peak and Volcano or whatever. Apparently, and I feel really silly for not knowing this, companies movie production studios just sit on scripts, and then whenever they hear word that another company is making a movie within that same vein, they're like, well, I guess we need to get ours out too. And so that's how you get stacked like that. I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's that
thing
it's
where... not even that. Sometimes the same script has been sent out to everyone to bid on, and if no one buys it, or if someone buys it later on, those other studios know about it because they have it already. They have that script, and they might have passed on it. And they're like, you know what? Now Universal is doing this movie. You know what we have to do? Pay someone to write something right now, and it could be like just created because they know that they have to compete now.
And that's not just movies though too. So I was watching a video about Kraven the Hunter because the new Spider-Man game's coming out, and he's like one of the villains in it, and he's also has his own movie coming out. And originally, like his best known story in comics is called Kraven's Last Hunt, where he kills Spider-Man and then he like takes over for Spider-Man as the premise of the story. The story's real dark, and I didn't know this. It was originally supposed to be a Batman story, and they transitioned it over because DC didn't want it. So they transitioned it over to Marvel and made it a Spider-Man and Kraven story. So it's like all that stuff happens where like stuff gets pitched and moved around and all that stuff, right? And it's like, well, I mean, it's like I knew my buddy Bobby who went to college with the guy who directed Saw 2, who had been shopping that fucking script around. Nobody wanted it. Saw was a mega hit, and they were like, okay, we're going to turn this script into a Saw movie, which is a lot like most of the Hellraiser movies, the direct-to-DVD ones especially.
And
they're
all
just
the
like
Cloverfield ones.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, especially the space one that like Netflix put out, right?
Yeah,
But,
they're just like, you know what? Oh, there's a monster. Haha, bye.
yeah. I mean, it's just like intellectual properties sell things, right? And we have
That's so
all
annoying
these.
though, because I love Cloverfield 1 so much that I was excited to hear that they were going to be making more. And then you get these cheap knockoff, like you're just diluting the brand and making us all like not trust it. And the first one still is one of my favorite found footage movies.
10 Cloverfield Lane is great though, but
Yes,
like
but it
it's not
wasn't
really a
supposed to
Yeah, it's not really a
didn't need to be.
Cloverfield movie. So that it gives you the perfect background for that film, but you could tell you're like not a Cloverfield movie. Kin is rolling herself up as a burrito right now as we speak.
Oh, I'm just chilly. Just ignore me.
It's a kid burrito. But man, I would say it's the only thing about Alien, the only thing that never makes sense to me in this film, and this is more of a logical thing, is how fast the alien grows in this movie. Like because it is the most unrealistic thing in any it's only really a problem in 1 and 3. And 3 is a little bit different because xenomorphs take the form kind of whatever they're injected into, right? That's like why the alien in Alien 3 is more dog-like, because it was in a dog, not a regular, not a human, right? But this thing would have needed so much food to grow that fast, without like any. And I know it's science fiction, but that's the only thing that bugs me about this movie. Every time I watch it, I'm just like, how did it get so big so quickly? Like, it seems like it's like 12 hours. It goes from like popping out as a baby to like giant, full, like, full size, 7 foot tall Nigerian man sized alien. But man,
I don't know, man.
That's the only.
If that's the only thing, then it's still at a 98%.
Dude, it's almost a perfect movie. It is so good. I
even made a poster for this movie a long time ago, but this poster is literally perfect, and there's no way I would ever use another poster.
It is very. It's just like the essence of like you know why I like it, because it doesn't unveil the monster.
Yeah.
And it just has Sigourney Weaver being the badass she is, and Sigourney Weaver will forever
that
be.
Helmet is fucking so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it is like they climax the end of this movie so well with like her like blowing up the ship, and like my least favorite character in this entire movie, I don't know if you guys could agree, is the Lambert. Lambert fucking sucks. I always hate Lambert. Lambert is the worst character in this movie, and she gets poor fucking Parker killed because she's too fucking stupid to like. And it reminds me of the scene in Alien 3 where the guy is trying to like fight with an alien, like hand-to-hand combat, like that. Like he goes
Alien
after
3
it.
is just fucked though. Like.
Yeah. It's fucked, but it is the thing where you go, Alien 3 is what happens when studio interference happens, and like you don't let Fincher make the movie he wants to make, because Fincher, that was his first movie. Yeah. And then
he didn't
you're
know.
like, oh yeah, well, like, you go. he's getting dick punched by the studio, and then he was like, "Fuck you guys," and he goes to
there was a
become
whole bunch of other things that happened too. Like
yeah. But he's become one of the most prolific filmmakers of the last 50 years, right? And you go, oh, okay.
Give him space. Give creative space.
Yeah. I mean, the cast of this movie, man, Tom Skerritt as Dallas, fucking amazing. Sigourney Weaver as Ripley, amazing. John Hurt as Kane, fucking amazing. Veronica Cartwright, I don't know how much Lambert did after this, but like you got like Harry Dean Stanton as Brett. You get Ian Holm.
Kills me because he's aged over the years, obviously.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look like he's aged over the years, throughout movies. I don't know. Yeah. He's just remained the same.
It's like Ash, man. Ash turns into like now I see Ash and I just see fucking Bilbo. You know, it's like and you're just like old man Bilbo, like who looks a bazillion years old. And Ash is one of those like, dude. He's like the secondary villain in the film, like along with Waylon, right? But like that scene every fucking time gets me, where he's trying to shove the fucking magazine into fucking Ripley's mouth. You're like, because it's just like, no, it's like Michael Myers. Like he turns into Michael Myers, right? He's like not saying anything. He's just like, getting in there and like, I'm gonna shove this down your throat so you can't breathe and like suffocate, so nobody can tell that it was me. And you're just like. Damn, that scene is so like that, and when he's fucking Ripley's reading the reports from Mother, which is one of the I've had the Alien Quadrilogy Blu-ray set for years, which has the director's cut. I think one of the only differences, like they add the scene where Sigourney finds Ripley finds Dallas, like all like put up on the wall, right? That wasn't in the original version. The only other thing I think I noticed on that Blu-ray that I'm like, I think they fucked it. They took the Mother interactions, the computer screen, and they updated it so it like
looks like it was a computer.
Like, yeah, it looks like a computer. So you're like not just like looking at old like
fucking
70s like green computer screens,
I don't know how I would feel about that, but at the same time. People watching it for the first time would be like, like, fucking, what are they, Zillennials?
Yeah. Well, it's the clarity, right? Yeah, it's like how can you like it just looks smoother and it's not like something
fucking kids.
I know. Well, it's not like fucking what do you call him? George Lucas going back in and putting like making a band digital instead of like real actors in the like original Star Wars and shit like that, right?
Everything
Stuff like that
he did was so dumb in the remake.
Most of it, yeah.
It was unneeded, unnecessary, and cool. Good job. I can tell your fucking stupid CGI that's not aging well, and everything else in the movie aged perfect. Like.
The things I did like when he put like him making like Tatooine or the Mos Eisley like more like bustling. I didn't hate that, but most of the stuff, yeah, you're right. It's like why
like changing the song at the end of Return of the Jedi. Go fuck yourself.
What was it? Yub Yub. They took away Yub Yub.
Yeah,
the best
which
song
was like
ever.
my favorite song when I was a kid, and would like
Yub Yub
rewind it and watch it on repeat.
Yub Yub. That's how Josh became a metal fan, by the Yub Yub. Yub Yub
Fucking
was
right.
the metal intro to our generation.
This is correct.
Like, you want death metal? Ewoks are as death metal as it gets. They're just like Yub Yub. It means like
so is our logo.
Go fuck a skull like of a murder moose, and then that's what Yub Yub really means.
Definitely death metal.
Death metal as shit. Death metal as shit. Okay, Ken, what, I know you researched and all these things. What was your favorite fact? Because you always find lots of facts about these things. So I want to know, what was your favorite fact about Alien?
The part about the dialogue, a lot of it being improvised, I thought that was really cool. Like apparently the vast majority of the dialogue in the movie was just improvised. I think that's really neat because when movies do that and they kind of like let the actors take the lead on stuff like that, you get something that's still beautiful and still true and still, great for what they're going for. But as long as they have a rough direction and they can just run with it, they're some of the like best lines have ever been pulled from stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool.
I think, doing like freestyle or even like when you forget things. I mean, like Game Over, man, Game Over from Aliens is like one of the best lines in cinema history. And it was because it was Game Over, man. And then he forgot whatever he was supposed to say next and just repeated it. And you just go, oh, okay. But it's that thing where it's like these actors are so good that they're living in these characters, right? And so you have this like,
why male models? That's what it was. And then he just said it again. But why male models? So good.
I mean, it's Zoolander. Of course, it makes perfect fucking sense. It's like it's like the dumbest character of all time, and it's just like, why?
It's like one of my favorite scenes in the fucking movie, and it's just a straight flub. But
yeah, I mean, it's good. Like it's like you have like there are tons of errors like that are like dialogue things. It's like I saw something about like flubs and mess ups that stayed in movies the other day on YouTube, and it was like Tom Cruise and Collateral like chasing after Jamie Foxx and like tripping, and it was like, and another one was, speaking of Ben Stiller, when they dropped him and There's Something About Mary, that was like not scripted. They actually just dropped him when they were trying to haul him off into the ambulance because he had zipped his balls or his dick or whatever, and they just drop him and he's just like Cameron Diaz is like, it's because they weren't supposed to drop him, and then but they keep it in the movie. So it's just like that stuff is, and that's what like it's like being a filmmaker. It requires flexibility, man. Like because you never know what's gonna happen. You never know what's gonna happen while you're shooting. You never know what's gonna like feel better. You know, it's why like improv comedy is such a fucking thing, right? And that's like why it goes into like all these guys who do horror stuff. I mean, like Danny McBride. Danny McBride is the perfect example.
Though, like. If they are able to think on their feet and not be like, held down by only saying the exact words, it's like, no, let's hear it a few different ways, and it creates better improvisation and better able to react off of people. But I want to know something, Kin, because we now know and have seen and done Rod's favorite movie of all time. I don't even know what my favorite horror movie is of all time. I know what my favorite movie is, but what's your favorite horror movie, and should we do it on the show, or have we already done it?
I mean, mine's definitely Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the classic, but have we done classic Texas? I don't think we have.
No, we have not.
Yeah.
No, we did the remake.
We did Motel Hell and the remake.
In the remake, yeah. If we do Texas Chainsaw, we're gonna have to do Texas Chainsaw 2 because that is my favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Nomland.
I will never remember. I will never forget the first time I saw the chainsaw scene where he's like, Bubba's like sticking it in between her legs, and it's just like the most like, oh, okay, this is a dick, and he's fucking her with the. I'm just like, this is amazing. I'm down with doing Texas Chainsaw at some point because I fucking love that movie. I've been having a blast of the game, even though I haven't played it in a little bit. But
I saw it in theaters in Calgary. They brought the original like 35 mil print with the trailers attached and stuff. So I saw the original print of it. I was like, man. Like, whenever those type of things happen, I'm like, this is such a, like, treat. No one else can, like, not no one, but, like, not a lot of people can say they've watched the original print of the movie. I'm like, oh, I feel so special.
I mean, you're, like, the person who's, like, born, like, 16, 17 years after the original came out. So, like, you're, like, you're whatever, or 15 years, whatever the fuck it is. So it's just like you're like,
I have such a cool indie place here in Calgary that is run by like one of the coolest like metal dudes ever, Cody, who's been in like a bunch of trauma movies and stuff. So he's like the one bringing all of the best cool things to Calgary, and I'm lucky enough to call him a friend. So I get to
I mean, it's
fun thing.
I went a while back. Alamo was doing Jurassic Park. I mean Jaws on like the 4th of July, and watching that in theaters was pretty cool. Like because they're like having you blow up poppers when the shark blows up and shit like that, and so stuff like that.
I just realized, and I feel like such a fucking moron, but the Calgary International Film Festival is going on right now. It's on like day 5 already, and I was just like, oh fuck, I just get emails all the time. I didn't realize that it was actually fucking going on right now. There's there's way too many movies, but I was looking at the horror list, and there's some fucking headbangers. There's some headbangers in there, so I might fucking go and check them out.
I think Fantastic Fest has been going on too, right? So Fantastic Fest was just another source of like real good indie like horror stuff, like because it's just like where you get a lot of like real like independent stuff that comes and shines, right? It's like it's not a big studio stuff, so a lot of stuff that we end up covering will probably have gone through there, so Josh, what is your favorite part of Alien? What of all the scenes in this movie, what's your favorite part?
The chest, 100%. Like when it was about to happen, like it was. I really when it comes to these like iconic movies, I'm like, I know you don't like horror, girlfriend, but I'm going to force you to watch this, and so I can watch it through someone's eyes who normally doesn't watch this type of movie. But it's so well done. And it's like I don't know. So it was a little more special this time watching it because I got to watch it beside someone who was actually enjoying it because it's so fucking well done. She was like, "Oh, holy crap." And I was like, right before that scene happened, she's like, "Why do you look like a devil right now?" I'm like, I'm so excited.
You know what though? You know what this movie, and I was watching this yesterday thinking the movie reminds me of Halloween in a lot of ways because of it's not a gory movie. Like the only gore in that movie is that scene, is the chest burster scene, right? It's not most of the scene you're like the violence occurs off screen.
But for someone who has never seen the movie before, that scene is definitely horrific and like catches you off guard because you don't know the lore yet and like or how the things are going. So that is just it's so unique to this movie to have it. Like the only reason we care about you is because you're our incubators, and it's so fucking metal.
I mean, it's like the world. I mean, it's like it's the world of bugs, right? Like it's all the things that bugs do and that we hear about. Like the bugs are really fucked up, and you hear things about like praying mantises like chopping off their partner's head during sex, or like like
just like
bugs. Bugs that like impregnate other things, kind of like an alien, and like or like take over stuff, and it's just like there's a lot of stuff in this world that that you could obviously use as inspiration, and they just like take it to that next level. And I mean, I don't know if we've mentioned him, but H.R. Geiger's like designs of this movie are fucking phenomenal. Like it's such a like that's the cool thing about
we
this
all
movie.
brought it up at the beginning. It's like way too fucking good that the amount of movies that have like not just borrowed but completely fucking ripped this movie off in its like aesthetic is insane.
There were a lot of, if you go back into the 80s, a lot of B horror movies that used Alien as like the premises, like a premises, the fucking concept for the films, right? And then they just obviously none of them do anything nearly as well, but like it's such a fucking iconic movie that changed. I mean, again, I go back to Halloween. It set up science fiction horror stuff for the next how long? I mean, it's still now affecting it. And
I want to know our horror guru. What was your favorite part? Kin. She's our horror guru. Remember?
She is a horror guru.
My favorite part was definitely when the facehugger gets into the helmet and they're having the argument about who's gonna like whether or not they'll let him in, and she's so adamant, and they just blatantly do not care. Like that's
and it makes
such an annoying scene.
I mean, but then it makes sense because you go, oh, he's just a fucking android that is doing exactly what the corporation told him to. I have to say that like I think that like the chestburster scene is always iconic, but I really think when Brett Harry Dean Stanton is going into the water room where it's like raining and the alien's just fucking swinging and you don't know. Like if you don't know it's there, you can miss it real easily. And it was probably missed on TV for a long time. But we have these like,
everything's very zoomed
HD.
in this movie though. So it's like it's more claustrophobic and it doesn't show as much. But that scene is fucking fantastic. Because it follows the tropes of like a horror movie to a T.
Yeah.
Behind you.
Well, then it just swinging is such a fucking iconic because you don't know what it looks like. That's your first
but I love
introduction.
How in that scene it switches to the cat's reaction.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. The cat that lived through Aliens and the Jonesy. That fucking cat and almost gets eaten a couple times, but
the cat's
Jonesy.
Awesome.
Yeah, that fucking the cat's reaction in that scene is fucking perfect, and I want to know what they did to like piss that cat off because that cat looks pissed. It looks pissed. That's one of my favorite scenes. I really, really, really love the whole end scene with her in the escape pod and realizing the alien's there. Like the just the hand flopping out and just scaring the shit out of her is just like such a oh shit. We don't even have this giant ship,
but like
to run
in that scene, the like retractable like teeth thing just kind of come out. I forget what Deanna said in that point, but she said something really funny. I forget. It was.
I mean, her running around in the panties that are barely on and her little white shirt help a lot, but like that scene is just so fucking tense. Like this whole movie is just so tense. It
looks like
very much
next week's movie is going to be fucking tense.
Yeah,
holy shit, tense. I'm the only one that's seen anything.
Just like camping.
Really? Are you super tense when you go camping?
No, but you go camping in tents.
Oh
God, Ken, that was. Wherever Leaf of the Wind is, they were enjoying that one, Ken.
I didn't know, Ken. I didn't know that you were capable.
Oh, hang out on her stream. She's very capable. Or watch her fucking TikToks or she's very capable. This woman knows more dad jokes than almost anyone I know.
I didn't even see it coming though. Like, fuck.
That's what she said.
Fuck.
Ken will dad's joke you out of fucking. It's like Neo. Like you don't see him coming. It's just like Ken will dad joke you, and you'll never see him coming.
She's in a burrito blanket right now. She's not even paying attention.
I'm listening.
Definitely green screen her into anything you want right now. This is a meme waiting to happen.
We're gonna put Ken on the spaceship. Do whatever.
Make sure you go to murdermoose.com and do that and buy merch while you're there too.
Yeah, buy merch. So Josh doesn't buy more merch on accident, and we're good. Josh definitely bought merch on accident while setting up the site.
I was testing the site. I was like, oh, it worked. But then it went through for real. I was like, oh, shit. Why did I make that test one so many items? Fuck. Fuck, I could have just tested it with one shirt, my size. Nope, I did it with a whole bunch of shirts. And not my size, too, so great.
What? Did they ever go through, and this is, you talked about the Alien movie that they're working on. Did they ever do, like, they were at one point planning to do a TV show. Did they just never go through with doing that? Because
that would just fuck with your... the thing I hope Hollywood figures out very quickly is, yes, everyone has a streaming platform, but we don't need to destroy every fucking IP out there with just an abundance of it coming out all the time. Like Marvel is done for me. I don't fucking give a shit anymore. Same with Star Wars. I do not care anymore, and I don't want that to happen to all my favorite platforms.
Dude,
I
like
Aliens.
I like the Star Wars shows. I don't really like the Star Wars movies they've been doing. I've liked
loved
Ahsoka
Indiana Jones
and all that stuff,
and I don't need any more. I loved Terminator, but I don't need any more. I love Alien, and I am excited for this new one. But if it sucks, I could say I don't need any more as well. And very much mean it.
I've actually been impressed with what they did with Predator. I mean, we talked about Predator and loved it. The one that they put on Hulu. Freddy Alvarez, I trust. So like, if they let him do his thing, then I'm okay with it. Like at some point, they were supposed to do the Alien thing or the Halloween thing with Alien, where they were gonna
this is where they're putting it in the right hands, though. Like Dan Trachtenberg is like respectable. He's the right hands. He did a good fucking job with Prey, and I hope he gets the freedom to really run with a fucking rad project. Fede Alvarez is that. He's like the A version of Danny Trachtenberg. So I don't know.
Oh yeah.
A-list.
Okay, I love this movie. It's one of my favorites of all time, if not my favorite. I think today it's my favorite. Sometimes I debate, and it's always like the thing is always the thing. I'm like, no, it's gotta be Alien, but it's right up there. And I love this movie with my whole. This is one of those movies I think that shaped me as a human being. And you go, oh, that's how he's the way he is.
You cut yourself off in the middle of saying you love this movie with your whole penis, and you didn't. So I finished that sentence for you.
I love this movie with my whole penis. Like all of my penis. There's a reason why my penis looks like the alien mouth, where it's just like it looks like a thing pops out of it, and it's quite horrifying, but it's cuddly. And they don't use my penis doesn't use Vaseline. It's got something else that comes out of it, but it is. That is for the people who made it through this shit show. So next week we are doing.
Hey, if you made it this far, fucking type something. Engage with our fucking engagement things. The comment section. And
my alien
Kin's
penis
whistling. I don't know. Is that your nose whistling right now?
Yeah. It's okay. Kin's vagina looks like the alien egg, so we're good.
I mean, it's fair, right? It's fair.
Kin, we love you. I love you, Josh. Thank you
I love
for
alien
watching.
eggs.
I love them too. They're the best. They taste like Cadbury eggs, but with cow livers or whatever. I don't know.
Just watch out for the acid.
Yeah, exactly.
Eggs.
No One Can Save You is next week.
Yeah,
no one can save you. No one will save you. Sorry. I'm never going to get this fucking. There's way too many words in that title.
No one will save you from Rod's penis or Kin's vagina.
Yep. They're both horrifying, and they're like their own horror movies. Rod's penis in space. No one could hear Rod's penis scream. Also, can we talk about that? Best tagline of a film of all time. In space, no one can hear you scream. Best tagline of all time. Fight me, because there's not a better tagline in any other movie.
He's that meme sitting at the table with the little hand-drawn thing. Prove me wrong. Best tagline.
Yep. I mean, it is. That is me. I wonder if that guy realizes like how big of a meme he is. He probably doesn't. Probably doesn't know what the internet is. Probably just jerks off to Pornhub and then goes to sleep, and that's what it is. So
there's other websites. On the internet?
There's murdermoose.com.
Oh, right, murdermoose.com.
Bada boom. That's another website. Okay. So No One Can Save You While Aliens Home Invade You and Give You Anal Probes is next week. So Anal Probes on Hulu next week. Watch it. Check it out. Do these things. And shit, yeah. We will watch that next week. And Kin is agreeing to sell her soul to Satan for a donut right now, but Kin, love you. Okay, next week, No One Can Save You. Or whatever, how I fucked up the title. No one will save you. Whatever. Okay, murdermoose.com.
Tom? Ben
Major
Fraser?
Tom, this is ground control.
What's your shirt? I wanted to ask. I like the
Ice Nine Kills.
Nice. I like the tie-dye, reverse tie-dye, but pink. It's good. Good shit.
Yes, it's very nice. I really like the shirt. I really like this shirt. Yes. Okay. Murdermoose.com. Go find our website where we have episodes and merch. Our new gear. All the episodes are there. Go to YouTube and look for Murder Moose, and you can find us there. And subscribe! Yeah. So we could get to 100 subscribers. Yeah. Go to joshwrb.com. where Josh will gigolo himself out, dressed up like he is now. Josh the Gigolo. Yeah. We got
sound like a raptor.
I am a raptor.
Don't you know? She is the kin raptor. Go to continue.com and you can find all the lovely kin things and go check out her stream because kin is awesome and amazing.
This is the truth. It's the fucking truth, by the way.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Fight me for it. Kin is the best streamer on Twitch.
Rod wants to fight.
I want to fight you motherfuckers.
I'm ready to fight. Let's throw hands.
I'm throwing hands, motherfucker. And also, I'm Rod_Johnson on Twitch and Twitter or X or wherever the fuck it is and wherever. So find me there doing my shit show. Never find me. X.
Because you still have to go to fucking twitter.com to get there. So
X gonna give it to you. I got blood on my hands.
Do you have to go to x.com now? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I got blood on my hands and there's no remorse. I got blood on my dick because I fucked a corpse, as the great DMX once said. So I want you to remember that. And that's what we get when we talk about X gonna give it to you, because Elon Musk is a fucking moron. So next week, No One Will Save You. And it's on Hulu. So watch that shit. Yeah. And I love the shit out of you two guys. And I will catch you guys next week. And thank you, motherfuckers, for listening to 3 years of this shit show.
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
And we will catch you guys next week.
Bye! Bye!
It's in the game.
It's in the game.